One pattern repeats itself every time people actually sit down and study numbers. Some people are steadily saving, working hard, and checking every responsibility box on paper, but still hovering in low levels of financial anxiety because they don't have a framework in their minds to measure their actual position. When asked about the source of the stereotypes surrounding the $3 million or $5 million grand circle, the explanation failed. Emotions drive it, not math, and they manipulate money horribly. One scenario illustrates this well. Imagine someone targeting a particular portfolio target and fully believing that short selling is failure. But back to actual logic, asking surviving spouses what they really need, what their actual annual expenses add up toned. What source of income they have often requires much less than the rent-free figure that occupies their head. None of this anxiety can be traced back to a real shortage. All of this stems from ignorance, and these two milestones are the bridge to that gap. Before the numbers of intersections and coastlines enter people's minds, every market correction will be recorded as a disaster. The failure to maximize contributions every year will feel like an irreparable loss. And retirement will never feel fully prepared and can be used as a vague weight. Once those numbers become clear, the picture becomes clearer. Market volatility hasn't gone away, but it shrinks into manageable things through appropriate portfolio construction rather than destroying an entire week. Giving no longer seems like a desperate obligation, it begins to exert an additional margin of safety, and retirement has gone from hope to something visible and measurable. None of this will erase the work that is still going on, the decisions that are still waiting, or the uncertainty that has always accompanied it. What has changed is the structure of this uncertainty. I don't know if I am going to get better. It translates as I roughly know where I stand, and that is my plan for the gap. Operating from these two positions feels completely different. If you stick to that, you are serious. So don't just absorb ideas and turn around. Once these concepts stay in your head without touching spreadsheets, value plummets. Set aside 20 or 30 minutes this week to run your number, to determine what your retirement spending actually looks like. The lifestyle you really expect translates into dollars a year, not anything that a typical online calculator defaults to. Healthcare is part of that estimate. And Fidelity Retiree healthcare cost estimates repeatedly set the cost of a 65-year-old couple's entire retirement at more than $300,000, a cost that surprised most people. Travel plans, family support obligations, and any relocation goals need to be accompanied by specific dollar figures. Build your target retirement portfolio. Use the 4% rule as a starting point. And remember that this is the baseline, not the final answer. Longer retirement times or a desire for higher profit margins may require 3.5%. And if you hold guaranteed income, like a pension, you may actually need a much lower portfolio than expected. Your personal coastline data comes from working backward and off target, under reasonable real return assumptions. Post-inflation, 5% is a common benchmark, although given current market valuations, some planners prefer 4% to increase conservatism. Measure the distance between your account today and this coastal number. When you compare the average annual growth rate of your portfolio in recent years with your annual contribution rate, it becomes clear that you have passed the crossroads. Growth continues to outperform the market, which means you've crossed the line. And if the numbers haven't flipped, figuring out when they'll show up at your current pace will give you a specific timeline to watch. Look back at all this at least every year, because life refuses to stagnate. Job changes, health events, changing markets, and changing family dynamics are all redefining the picture. A plan that fits perfectly in may seem outdated by December, and any permanent snapshot will never have lasting value. It lives in the realm of planning itself. The core of retirement has nothing to do with accumulating enough money to give up work. Getting to a place where work is a choice, not a requirement, is the goal of the whole job. You continue to do what you love to do because you want to do it, or you chase something completely different because curiosity attracts you there, or you walk away entirely because you have room to rest. Financial independence looks like this: not avoiding one thing, but being free to do the next thing that makes sense to you. The shift doesn't begin the day you file your retirement papers, but the moment you know where you're standing.